As you know, there is British system that we are using. There is metric system that the rest of the world is using. And then in metric system, there are certain units which is used for international unit. For example, in metric system, you can measure the distance in meter, centimeter, decimeter, but international system is only using meter. Even if you want to explain the thickness of your hair, you will use meter to explain. So many of you would work in hospitals, and you will be doing work in anywhere that you work in future. Most of the world have switched into metric system. We will probably do, Canadian have. So we must have a feeling of metric system when we talk about inches. How many meters are we talking about? We must develop these method of converting them together and have an understanding to them. So we are going to start about that. How do we change from one unit into another unit? So what we want to do is unit conversion factor. I'm going to give you an example. If you go to Canada, the speed limits are written in kilometers, and you have the concept of mile. If you are using number of kilometers and you are going, let's say it says 60 kilometers per hour, you go 60 miles per hour, you get stopped by the police and you get a ticket. So how do you relate kilometers and meters? So for this, you need a table. I don't want you to memorize. You will learn by repetition. So for this, you are going to get a table. There is a table on Canvas, which is called exam table. It's accessible to you during your exam. So if you look up that, it will tell you that every kilometer is 0.6214 miles. So let me get rid of my keyboard, and I can write on my tablet. So if the table is telling you 1 kilometer is equal to 0.6214 miles, and this is what the table will tell you, can I say these two are identical together? So if I divide both sides by, 0.6214 miles, and here 0.6214 miles, do I get this divided by the same thing is equal to 1? So can I say 1 kilometer over 0.6214 miles, which is this, is equal to 1? Can I say that? Why? Because the top and bottom are identical together. What if I do this? I upside down this ratio, bring 1 kilometer on the bottom, 0.6214 mile on the top. Can I say these are identical together? The ratio is 1. In other words, if this is equal to 1, the inverse of it, which is 1 over 1, is 1. So is it fair to say that whenever you have an equation like this, or any equation which is coming from table, you can write 2 conversion factors? So these 2 equations which were obtained, these 2 ratios which were obtained by having this information, they're called conversion factors. Why do I call these conversion factors? Well, let's look at next page. Suppose you want to convert 26.22 miles to kilometers. If I use one of the conversion factors on previous slide, which is equal to 1, in other words, can I use this one, which says 1 kilometer is identical to 0.6214 miles. So I write it here. This whole thing is equal to 1, right? This is equal to 1 because top and bottom are equal together. If I multiply anything by 1, it's the same number. In other words, if I write 5 times 1, can I say it's still 5? So if I write this unit times 1, it's the same. So this ratio is equal to 1. But why am I doing that? Here is the reason. Can I cancel miles and miles together? Miles on the top, miles on the bottom, cancel each other, yes? So what is the unit left? It's kilometer. So what is this unit conversion factor suggesting? It's suggesting that take 26.22 divided by 0.6214, you are going to get number of kilometers. So if somebody asks me, how many kilometers are there in 26.22? The answer is here, 42.20 kilometers. So do you see unit conversion factors do what they're supposed to do? They convert from one unit into another. How do you come up with a unit conversion factor? You look up the table. You come up with an equation like this. Use the equation to write two different conversion factors. Use the one which you need. You always need one of them. You don't need both of them. So what we said, I'm going to summarize what I said. You're starting with a unit. You want to convert into another unit. You need a unit conversion factor. How do you decide which unit conversion factor you need? Write the one that you don't need on the bottom. If I want to convert unit 1 to unit 2, obviously unit 1 must cancel. So my conversion factor, in my conversion factor, I write unit 1 on the bottom. The unit I'm converting into, I write on the top. And I relate top to bottom. How do I relate top to bottom? From the equation which is coming from the exam table or from the book. Your book has all these equations on page 19, 20, and 21. When you're doing problem solving, when you're doing your homework, use the book. And there is no harm to use the exam table when you are doing this. Why? Because you get used to it. You can be faster using exam table during the exam time. So, guys, do you have any question? Don't hesitate. Please stop me and ask. Go ahead. Open your audio. Ask a question, please. Am I clear so far? Yes or no? All right. So I take it the answer is yes. I'm going to give you an example, then I give you an example for you. I do a problem, then you apply the same concept to do a problem that I give it to you. Suppose this problem, how many minutes there are in 2.5 hours? So can I say I'm starting with hours, I want to cancel hours and go to minutes. So I need unit conversion factor. Where do I get unit conversion factor? I need relationship between hour and minute. Can I say 1 hour is 60 minutes? That's the relationship. So I write the unit problem is giving me 2.5 hours. And then I look what problem is asking me, is asking how many minutes. So can I say I must cancel hour? Because hour is not the unit of the answer. So hour has to go. So I write the unit I'm canceling on the bottom. Hour goes on the bottom. And the problem is asking me to convert it to minutes. That's a question mark. So I write minutes, which is the unit I'm converting into, on the top. And then relate top to bottom. What is the relationship between hour and minute? Every 1 hour is 60 minutes. So I write every 1 hour is 60 minutes. So can I cancel hour and hour? And what is left? Minute. Is that the right unit that problem is asking? Yes. So what is unit conversion factor suggesting? It says take 2.5, multiplied by 60, and then divide by 1. You know any number divided by 1 is the same. So all you have to do, multiply 2.5 by 60. The unit which is left is minute. You got it. That's how you solve this problem. So can I say, if I want to summarize, what is involved in unit conversion factor? To say, you look at initial unit problem is giving you. Look at the unit problem is asking. Write a conversion unit. On the bottom, write the unit which you're supposed to cancel. On the top, write the unit that you're supposed to convert in. The third step is relate top to bottom by an equation. Then you are done. Do I make sense? Do you have any question? Anybody? Don't be shy. Guys, many of you hesitate to ask questions. But some of you are courageous enough to ask a question. So you're helping many others when you have a question. Don't be shy, please. Are you with me so far?